how do you choose the material? I mean, do you go and see the plays and then go, okay, we want to do this, and do you travel around for it, or and then how do you find your actors?
In terms of choosing the plays, sometimes we have seen them, sometimes we've just read them, sometimes we talk to other people who produce theaters of similar size that have audiences that might have similar tastes and kind of follow what they're doing a little bit. I mean, a play like Harvey is such an American classic. It won the Pulitzer Prize back in the 40s. So that's been around, and this is the third time we've done it in our 34-year history. So we've once a decade, and we've loved it every time. But there are other shows. I mean, Spitfire Grill is it's about 10 years old, but in the world of theater, that's fairly new. So that was a piece that we had just sort of heard about through the grapevine, and none of us had ever seen a production. We had just read reviews and talked to people who had done it, and just thought that it might fit in well. The play that we're doing next at the East Sonora Theater, which is around the holiday times, is a live radio version of It's a Wonderful Life. Weirdly, another Jimmy Stewart kind of iconic role, but it's the play itself, but it's set in a radio station, so they're doing a radio broadcast of it, and it's based on an actual radio recording that was done with Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed around the time that the movie came out. So. And that's one that was a very, very popular at a theater called Signet in San Diego, and we have friends who work there, and they brought it back like 5 years in a row. It was so popular. So we're excited to be doing that as well. So that's it, and then there's a balance of comedy, drama, musical, large shows, small shows. We don't really have the support system in place that we can do two gigantic shows all at the same time. But we do them occasionally. Next year we're opening our 35th anniversary season in March with Les Miserables. So that's giant musical. Yeah, and that's one that, of course, we have seen. We just went to see the final stop of the national tour, and we've also seen it at a community theater recently and a university theater, just to sort of see how it's done with lots of resources and not so many resources, and we'll sort of do it in the middle. You asked about the actors. There are several trade magazines and publications for performers throughout the United States, and when we have an audition coming up for that, a tryout, we will list what we pay and when the dates are and so forth, and then we get a lot of submissions from people all over the country wanting to audition. And then we do live auditions in Los Angeles and San Francisco for most of the productions, but we also audition people through YouTube clips and that sort of thing, and talk to them over the phone, because even if somebody's got talent, you got to have a sense of what kind of person they are, because this is a small community, and it's really important that people be able to be happy here and not be just chasing the big city dreams. They have to really want to do the work itself, and that brings us an incredible amount of talent.
That's what I thought was interesting, even going through your program, because I was like, wow, okay, who are the actors? And I'm reading through, and then I'm like, okay, well, where are they staying? Because, that's our biggest question on this tour is where are we staying the next day, So I was like, suddenly felt like that, and I was looking, and you had a listing of actual people that were bringing the actors into their homes, and then I know Best Western puts them up as well, or works with you on that, too, and helps them.
Right. Mostly it's in people's homes. Some people will have a little mother-in-law cottage or, a studio apartment or something like that. We rent one studio apartment in downtown Sonora. But most of them are staying in people's guest rooms.
How did you get involved in theater, Sara?
Well, I've done theater all my life. I mean, I started in elementary school or practically preschool. It's something I've always just been in love with. I got my degree in theater in San Francisco, and although I never really expected to be able to perform professionally, it was just the world that I loved. The people are so creative, and it's a very accepting community. And so I just have always loved being around that energy, and I was fortunate enough to fall in love with a man who had a dream to start a theater, and that was Dennis Jones, back in the 70s when we were all at the Fallon House Theater, the Summer Stock Company. And so we just decided to do that. And I certainly have learned everything I've learned about running a theater through trial and error, much probably more error than than success.
That's
along
how it
the way.
goes.
Yeah, but it's an extraordinary life, and we feel just we couldn't be happier to be able to be doing the thing that we love more than anything, and to do it in such a beautiful and supportive community.